So, I work on a team of 24 other people, and all of us specialize in placing talent within the information technology and the telecommunications industries, whether it be in the office or out in the fields, from entry levels through CEOs. Just wanted to give you a quick call today, briefly introduce myself, and just see how you guys were doing over there right now. If you guys had any positions maybe you were struggling to fill on your own, or any projects planned for this year that maybe you guys wanted some assistance hiring for them.
We're not doing any staffing right now, we're not looking to hire anybody right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Do you have any plans for that at all for this year, or for it to be determined?
That salesperson did a decent job at asking questions during that cold call, but there's tremendous room for improvement, and this provides us a good opportunity to talk about how to create good questions for cold calling. And instead of dissecting his questions and talking about what's wrong with them or what could be changed, I am instead going to just focus on creating a new set of questions for this particular salesperson. And with the Smart Sales System, we actually talk about and help you to create a lot of different categories of questions, but really only 2 of those categories is what you need to focus on when thinking about what should I ask when I'm cold calling. And those are pain questions and current state questions. So I'm actually going to use a process to create questions for this salesperson. And even if you sell something totally different, you could use this process to create questions for what you sell. And starting with pain questions are questions that probe to see if the prospect has pain in the area where your product fits, or the pain that your product can help to resolve, minimize, or avoid. And these questions are really productive for cold calling, because if you ask a pain question and your prospect expresses concerns or doubts or uncertainty about that particular area, you've just identified a reason to talk more, and you can use that justification for closing for the next step in your process, which should likely be an appointment or longer conversation. So if our goal is to create questions that probe for the pain that we can help with, the best way to create good pain questions is to make a list of the pain points that your product or service can make go away, because for each pain point, there's a question or 2 that could be asked. So what we can do is we can look at each pain point and simply ask ourselves, what question could we ask to see if the prospect has that concern? And so one by one, we can use each of these pain points to create a question. How do you feel about the amount of time it takes to fill open positions? How important is it to decrease the time it takes you to fill open positions? How important is it to improve the quality of the applicants you're hiring and interviewing? How important is it to decrease the amount of time you spend interviewing? So there's our list of pain questions, and these are great questions to ask when cold calling. And creating the next category of questions, which is current state questions. These are questions that help you to learn more about what the prospect is doing in the area where your product fits. For example, if you sold cars, you should probably ask current state questions to learn what the prospect is currently driving. So do you have a car today? What are you driving? What year is it? How many miles does it have? How's it running? How many family members do you have? Do you rent it? Do you own it? How much money do you owe on it? So current state questions are going to be unique for every product or service, and I can't tell you exactly what current state questions ask, but what I have done is created a list of areas that you might want to create questions for. For example, you might want to ask the prospect if they currently have what you sell, who they purchase from, maybe any details around their current systems or processes in the area where your product fits. Maybe ask about people on their side, any details around current contracts or expiration dates. There are probably some sizing details you might want to learn about, how many sites they have, how many offices they have, how many employees they have. You might want to ask about the current performance related to the area where your product fits. Maybe the last time they looked at purchasing the product or service that you sell. So with that, we can come up with a list of current state questions that looks like this for recruiting and staffing services. What's your process for filling open positions? How often do you need to fill open positions? Do you currently have open positions that you need to fill? How many positions are you currently needing to fill? Do you use internal staffing or recruiters? Are you working with a recruiter or a staffing agency? How happy are you with the quality of the candidates you're interviewing? Do you feel like you're hiring and attracting top caliber talent? How long does it take to fill open positions? When was the last time you considered making changes or improving your recruiting process? Do you feel like you have the internal resources and processes that are needed to get positions filled quickly with the right caliber of talent? So there we have a long list of current state questions, and asking a few of those would be great during a cold call. Now, what I just showed you there is actually part of a full sales message brainstorming process, and those two steps are actually the fifth part of this process, which is brainstorming the questions you should ask for the product or service you sell. And here's actually the full sales message for recruiting and staffing services. And I'm not going to explain how to go through this process and each of the different steps because I've done that in another video. I'll actually include a link in the description that goes through this process step by step if you want to use our process to create a sales message for the product or service that you sell. But going through each of these steps creates these different sets of bullet points, and we view those different sets as building blocks. And once you have your building blocks for your sales message, you can mix and match those blocks to create a lot of different documents. You can use those to create your cold call script, your appointment script, email campaigns, voicemail messages, objection responses, and more. And that process of building your sales message and building those building blocks and mixing and matching them to create all those different documents is actually how the software of SalesScripter works. There's an area of SalesScripter called the Sales Message Builder, which aligns with that sales message brainstorming process that I just showed you. The software will take you step by step and help you to go through each of those individual steps, helping you to brainstorm the benefits your product or service helps to deliver, the pain points your product or service helps to make go away, and questions you should ask for that particular product or service. And once you have your sales message inside of SalesScripter, the software then creates those building blocks and then mixes and matches those to provide a whole library of documents. So you have a whole folder here of sales scripts, and this includes cold call scripts, appointment scripts, and more. And to show you what one of these scripts look like, here are those different building blocks put in a flow that you could use for a cold call. So you have your introduction, and then opening a cold call with your value proposition, asking some pain questions, maybe asking some current state questions, some pain points to talk about, product details, customer example, and then going for the close. And as you can see, the software also uses those same blocks for objection handling responses. I'm not interested. You could respond with your pain questions, current state questions, or pain points. And that is about it. If you want more information, the best place to go is salescripter.com. Thanks for being here. Hope this was helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.